Hey, we're back. I am just going to pray that you guys have been patient enough to hop on and join us for take 2 after the biggest Facebook Live disaster I've had yet. But you know what? Whatever. It's just a technical difficulty, right? Because this is all about painting and it's something we enjoy, and I'm going to keep a smile on our face and we're going to keep moving. So anyway, I've introduced this. If you guys have questions about what colors I use to get this look here on the front, just ask and I'll go back after the video tonight and give you those. And I have put my affiliate link at the beginning of this post so that if you want to try Dixie Belle or order any of these products, I would love it if you would use my affiliate link too. I would really appreciate that. And like I said, I am from Tracey's Fancy, and if you would hop over to my Facebook page and give me a like and a follow, I would also really appreciate that too. Okay, so let's get going on Harlequin. Oh, real quick before I get started on that, because it's a little intensive, and I'll forget. We have a giveaway tonight. Dixie Belle is giving away 16 ounces of paint, which is the large size here. This is the larger size of paint. It's 16 ounces, and you will be able to choose the color. So that is a fantastic giveaway. This is a lot of paint. You can cover a ton of furniture in this. You can cover couple of good size pieces in this size jar right here. So that's a really good giveaway, and there's a ton of paint colors that you guys can choose from. So the question is, this is how you win your paint. If you will put in the comments, what would you store in a hope chest? What would you store in a hope chest? Now keep in mind, guys, that we get to choose the winner. So I want it to be a unique answer. What would you store, or what do you store in a hope chest? And you can't say your husband or your babies, okay? All right, can you see comments?
Yes, people are back on.
People are back on. Thank you for joining us.
Store blankets.
Yes, blankets for sure. That is definitely something that I have stored in my chest here in my house. All right, so what we're going to do is I have there's 3 ways of doing Harlequin pattern. One is you can purchase a stencil. The thing about purchasing a stencil, if you already have them or you are a painter, you know this. And if you're considering Harlequin pattern, this is the thing about stencil. Usually Harlequin pattern stencils, the diamond shape is usually about 3 inches tall. So that's only that tall, okay? That's not a very big Harlequin pattern. And it's also kind of busy. So if you're doing it on a large piece, I knew I wanted to do Harlequin on top of this piece. If you're doing it on a large piece, that's a lot of little diamonds. That's just too busy for me. I think the smaller pattern is for smaller pieces. So if we're talking dressers or armoires, things like that, it's just too small. Now I'm sure you can probably find a larger diamond in a stencil, but still you're stuck with just that size. That's what you get, is just that one size. And if it's an all over pattern, you know, you're gonna spend 30, 40, sometimes 50 bucks on a stencil, and you're stuck with the one size. So I have always just made my own. I started out with a small stencil. I used it many times and I just grew tired of it, and it wasn't large enough. It didn't have enough wow factor to me. So I moved on and made my own, but that's something I'm gonna show you last. So the first thing would be stencil. You can get a stencil. The second thing is you can make your own Harlequin pattern, and you can customize it to your piece. So that's what we're going to do here. I've already made one here ahead of time, but I'm going to actually show you how to make it. This is the one that I made today, and I had to make this, you guys, because I've never used this technique. So I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing. I've seen it over and over online where people have demonstrated it or blogged about it. So I wanted to try it out, and it's legit. It's a good way to do it. It's prep, which I'm not real a big fan of prep, but if you don't, my way that I'm going to show you in a minute requires a steady hand and no tape. So if you do not have a steady hand, please pay attention to this process, because this will help you a lot, and we will be using tape. So what I did here was I used art paper to do that one, which just comes in a roll like this, and I taped 2 pieces of this together. The only thing about this paper is it's really shiny, and I don't feel like it transferred the pencil marks as good as copy paper, as well as copy paper would. So Most of the blogs that I've read or the painters that I've seen that have done it have used just regular copy paper from your copy machine. And that's what I did right here. I pre-made this. So these are just your regular, what are they, 8 by 10 or 9 by 11 sheets of paper that have been taped together to fit the top of this piece. So I'm gonna stand up now. Matt's gonna move the camera. Y'all are gonna come a little bit closer. I just laid them down side by side and taped them together. I tried to use as little tape as possible, but they're taped together so that it is one big piece, just like this, okay? Now, I wanted to show you another little trick before we get moving. Let's say you were going to use this type of paper. And let's say our piece was not completely square. Let's say the piece was a dresser that had maybe curves on the front. I don't know if you've ever done something like this, but you can make a template. Let's say that there were curves here. You would just run your fingers along this edge like this, and this shows you exactly where to cut, just like this. You just press, and it makes a perfect line. Can you see this line right here? So that way, if you had curves in the piece or little extra special molding, it would run right along the curves, and then you could take your paper off and cut your curves perfectly. So I wanted to say that. This piece is actually very square, but a lot of the French provincial dressers have the bow fronts on them. Okay, so now you might want to back off just a little bit while we do this so they can... Sometimes I sound so bossy when I'm talking to Matt. I don't mean to.
It happens so often she doesn't realize it.
Please let me know, Matt, if you see questions that are relevant to right now, so I can be sure and answer them. All right, so what we're going to do, you guys, I'm not sure where I can be seen. Can I be seen too?
Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to do here is I've taped all the pieces together. It is the exact size of the top. It's the exact size of where I want the harlequin print, okay? So what I know for sure is that I want a large harlequin print. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my entire piece exactly in half, and this is going to show me where my middle center point is, okay? So even if this were a long dresser, you do the exact same thing. You would fold this completely in half, okay? So then I'm going to fold it in half again. The reason I don't like drawing out harlequin is it makes me think of math. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't like math. I don't like math at all. Actually, I like algebra if there's a formula to it, but I just don't like math. Okay, so I have folded this piece in half 4 times. 3 times. 2, 3. That's it, okay? This is going to be the width of my harlequin. It's going to be that wide. So when you open it back up, I hope this is helpful, guys. I hope it's helpful to see it be done, because reading about it on a blog, woo, made my brain hurt, for sure. All right, so now when I open this up and I lay this out, I can see exactly how wide each harlequin's going to be. All right, so that's all. I just wanted to look at it. So now we're going to put it back the way it was. Now what we're going to do is fold it from top to bottom. This is how tall our diamond shape is going to be. Actually, I'm going to open it, you guys. That's a little thick. The art paper wasn't that thick. Here we go. I'm going to open it and I'm going to fold it like this. So now we're folding it the opposite way. Okay. So now, when I open it up, I feel like I need to be behind it. swear this isn't really that difficult, y'all. There we go. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to lay this out here on the top. Okay, Matt, you want to come up close now? Okay, guys, he's going to move in because I'm going to start measuring with my yardstick, and this is where you start drawing your diamonds out. If you can see up close, you see my middle line is right here, right down the middle. That's the middle line. And all the other lines go this way, okay? So where each big rectangle is, that's where one harlequin is going to be. Now, did you guys know that a harlequin is usually 50% ratio? It's one, however tall it is, it's half wide. So these rectangles are about 9 inches tall and about 4.5 inches wide, okay? So now I'm going to get my pencil and my straight edge. So I'm just going to pick a spot here. I'm going to move around here. No, don't move, you're good. So okay. I'm going to pick,
I was just going to mention people are storing everything from blankets, Afghans, plant food, lingerie.
Okay, this is super important right here, guys. This is where you're going to draw your line. You're going to go, can you see here? You're going to measure from this top line right here, or you can choose any top line, it doesn't matter. You're going to start here. You're going to go across your rectangle. Oh, wait, sorry, it's right here. From here, across your rectangle, and then down across the next rectangle. You're going to take it all the way across. So from the top of this rectangle, across to here's our folded point right here, across our folded point, and then down to the bottom of that rectangle. And then you're just going to mark it with your pencil, and you need to put a lot of pencil, what is this called? Carbon. You need to press pretty hard because you're going to want to transfer this when we flip it over. We'll be flipping this over in just a minute, okay? So then we just move over to the next folded side. We go from that top point across this center point here, and then line our straight edge up down there. All the way across. Okay? It's marked pretty well. So we're going to have a page here that is full of diagonal lines. Again, the top point across this center point down to here. Does anybody have any questions, you guys, about what I'm doing? Just like that. All right, so let's make them now going the opposite direction. We're going to go from the top point across the center line down to this bottom. Oops. My piece isn't level in here. We had it leveled outside, but it's not level in here. All right, all the way. All right. Who's on, Brody? My son's on. Hi, baby. Okay, again. Top point. Where are we? Across the center and down to the bottom. There we go. All right, we've now made our first couple of complete diamond patterns. Okay, you see that? We've got 1, 2 that are complete. Let's do one more. Across and down. Now, the thing about this, like I said, this is going to be one that you're going to tape off, and this is going to be one that's going to give you very, very, very perfect pattern. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 that are complete. So if we went all the way across, doing we only need to do a couple of more diagonal lines that way and a couple more this way, and we would have a complete sheet that is our total pattern for the top of this chest. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to transfer this by flipping it over and putting it down exactly where you're going to want it. There we go. You don't really need to be able to see the lines through your through the paper, because you have your folded lines already. Now I can see where I've drawn though, I can see that, but you don't really need to because you've got your fold. So we're going again from the top of the fold.
Baby, is that just a number 2 pencil?
It's just a regular, right out of my daughter's backpack. Just a regular number 2 pencil. So here we go again. Now I'm drawing with the pencil directly over where I've already drawn, using my straight edge as a guide and my folded lines. And then with pressure, the pressure that I'm applying is transferring that pencil onto my piece. Now my piece is white, so my pencil mark is going to show. However, if your piece is dark, you would want to use a chalk pencil. I don't know if you've ever used a chalk pencil before. You could use a piece of chalk, but that is not it's not as narrow of a line as a chalk pencil. And they have those at Hobby Lobby in the art department. All right, so let's make this line. There we go. Just going to do this until we have those 4 diamonds done, and then I'm going to talk to you about taping that off and painting. We'll do this one up here, across the middle. Y'all don't forget, please tell me where you're tuning in from. I'm here in San Antonio, Texas. Yesterday was my birthday. I feel like we posted that all over. We made it known, that's for sure. I had a wonderful day, and it was freezing. It was so cold yesterday, and I know that a lot of people on the Northeast are getting a lot of snow. So let me know where you're tuning in from.
Georgia and Tampa, Northport, Florida, Jackson, Tennessee.
Is it snowing in those areas in Tennessee?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania is probably snowing for sure.
Georgia.
I wonder what the weather's like in Florida. Probably perfect. Florida and California. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Y'all ready? Let's see. Matt, you want to zoom in so we can see how this, let's see. Looky there, pretty good. Pretty good. It transferred over pretty well.
Good transfer.
Yeah, even this line right here is very, very faint, but it's good enough that I can see it. I can still see it. So, I mean, if I wanted to, I could I don't really need to, but I could lay my straight edge down and make it a little bit darker if I wanted to, but I don't really need to, because all I need to be able to do is see it enough to lay tape. So, and the less pencil mark, the better. Did y'all know pencil shows through white chalk paint? Did y'all know that? So very, very light. You want to be very light with your pencil. Okay, so that takes care of that. So now what we're going to do, Matt, are you zoomed in on these 4 right here? Because we're going to work here for a minute.
Okay.
All right, pretty. Hello. I'm still here. Pretty impressed with the transfer of that. So if we had done the whole sheet, which I don't know how long that took me, but it really wasn't very long at all. It's just a lot of extra work that I'm not used to, but I understand that not everyone has a steady hand, that's for sure. So I feel like this is really important. So then what we're going to do is we want to mark what squares we want to paint first. So let's choose this square and this square. So you want to mark those. You could mark it with a pencil if you wanted, or you can put an M&M in that spot, or you can put a piece of tape. So we're going to go with a piece of tape. Now, what tape am I using right now? I'm using Scotch. This is Scotch Blue. I do not have a preference. I like frog tape. I like frog tape. I also like 3M. So this works for me. Was this one for delicate surfaces, Matt?
Yes.
All right. So the reason you mark that is because you want to make sure that your tape is going to go on the outside of that line, okay? So we would tape off that entire line. Now the next piece, see if I went on the inside of the line, I would be inside my diamond. I don't want to be inside that diamond. I want to be on the outside of that diamond. That's why you have this marked. So you want to go on the outside of the line. So you go on the outside of the line, just like that. Oops. Let's fix that one a little bit. All right, just like that. All right, so here's now, did you see this? This is one that I was gonna paint also, so I kind of messed up there, so ignore that. Now we're inside that one and we're inside that one. We wanna be on the outside of them all. So those will be our next ones. So then, if we're leaving this one open, oh my goodness, there we go. Taping to the outside again, on the outside of that one. We're just focusing on the one diamond, guys, because I really want to just show y'all what we're doing here. I don't want to do the whole entire top because I want to make sure that I have time to get to the way I do it also. And then here's the diamond that we're painting. So again, leave your tape on the outside. Okay?
Does anyone have any questions out there?
They're all like lost in Diamondville.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna move on to painting this diamond because I wanna show you a technique. And you know what, Matt, would you mind running and get the heat gun? I'm gonna need the heat gun. Okay, so let's paint this here. So I move that, and I want to get my fluff because this is my base coat. My base coat is fluff. Let me open it. And what I'm gonna do is seal my edge. We want to seal the edge of the tape. What you're gonna do is just run a small bit of the paint right over the edge of the tape. So if we had 15 diamonds up here that we were gonna do, you wanna seal the inside of your diamond shape, okay? So if the next diamond was taped off, this next one would be over here, we would seal that one, and the next one will be taped, we'd seal that one. You would tape them all off, and then you would go and seal your exposed diamonds that we're gonna be painting. The reason you do this, and you can back off just a little bit now, Matt, so we can, because I want to talk to him. The reason that we do that is because just like painting stripes, I don't know if you know this or not, but even though you have painter's tape on here, you still will have paint leak underneath. There's no sealed edge. I mean, you can press as hard as you want, but you're still going to have paint leak under there. And it's called bleed. And so then, especially if you're doing black and white, which is very stark difference in color, when you pull your tape out, you have all these little like wiggles of black paint that's seeped under there. So what we've done with the base coat is we've sealed it already, but we sealed it with the same color that's on there. So the white has gone under, and that way it's sealed with white. Now when we put black on it, black won't seep under the tape because the white sealed it for us. So you want to seal with your base coat. All right, so then next, this is a heat gun, and I'm just gonna heat this up just a little bit. I think it's actually already dry. That's the beauty of chalk paint. I think our fluff is already dry. Then I'm going to take our caviar, which is I believe it is the absolute darkest black that Dixie Belle has, and it is very, very dark. So I'm going to use the same brush, so it's going to be not quite as dark, but here we go. I'm going to paint this. Now, if we had taped off the entire top and sealed our pieces, why does it smell like a fire, Matt? Doesn't it smell like a fire?
Is it the heat
gun?
gun?
It's the heat gun. Whoa, blonde moment. Oh my gosh. Then you could use a roller if you wanted a small roller to go over each one of these. Now, these are going to have a little bit of white in them because I've used the same brush. There we go. So if I had all exposed diamonds, I would just move to the next one and the next one and the next one, and I would have my diamond painted that fast. So now, let's pull this up, and I'm going to show you. Show you how clean the line will be and how perfect our diamond is. Last one. Look how perfect. No bleed. Looks great. I actually kind of like the white in there a little bit. I like that. So that is that. Does anyone have any questions about that? So let's just recap how we did this. We made our own pattern, kind of like a sewing pattern, by taping together copy paper, or you could use the big art paper, which was much easier. I will say the art paper was a lot easier to work with than the copy paper because there were less seams. The art paper was just two big rolls, two big long pieces together, and then I just folded it in half, and then I folded it the opposite direction in half. What did I do? 3 times. Unfolded it and just started measuring with my stick from the top corner across the middle down to the next one. Drew all my diagonal lines that way, drew all the diagonal lines the other way, flipped it over, redid it, drew all the diagonal lines, so that we could transfer that pencil onto the top. That way when you took it off, it's perfect. Now, do you have to use the paper? You don't. I've never done that before. That's my first time to do it today. When I have done harlequin of this size, long before making my own little diamond, I measured this out with a ruler, just like I did. I decided what size I wanted my diamond to be, and I measured that many spaces across and that many spaces down, and then I laid my diamond across and made my lines that way. But to be honest, you guys, sometimes your measurement just gets a little off and it gets a little wonky, and then by the time you get from one side of the dresser to the other side of the dresser, I've honestly had this happen. Your diamonds look perfect on one side, and then the further over you get, they start getting kind of stretched out or a little bit fatter. So that's what's so great about folding your paper. There's no mess up. I mean, the paper folds are perfect. It's the perfect way to do it. It gives you a perfect no fail. I mean, there's just no, I just can't imagine there's a way to fail. So anyway, that's that, and that's the beauty of chalk paint, is that it's already drying. So now I'm going to share with you what I do, and that is this. This is what I do. So what I finally did after, when this pattern became just like so big, and I was doing it all the time, I decided I just want one diamond. That's all I need. I just need one diamond. I have so many of these, y'all. I have them in huge sizes too. I don't know if you've seen, but our dining room wall is harlequin pattern. And how tall are our diamonds? Like 3.5 feet tall, I think.
I think they are
3.5 feet tall. I don't know if we can get through there. Maybe you want a clear spot while I'm talking, and we might can. If y'all hang with us, we will take you into our dining room, and when we're done, and let you see my dining room wall. If you haven't seen it, it's really, really pretty. It's my favorite wall in the house. So anyway, what I did was I made these. This is cardstock. This is like scrapbook paper cardstock, and I just took a piece of paper, like one of these. I just took a regular flimsy piece of paper and did it just like we did today. I just folded it in half and then in half again, and cut. Let me get a regular. Did I bring any in here? Sorry, you guys. Since we moved from the shop out into here, some of my supplies got left.
What do you need?
Nothing. I'm good. I'm winging it.
So people have plant food, blankets, antiques, paint supplies, photographs.
All right, so let's say we're going to make this into a diamond. So you can measure it with a ruler, but this makes it so perfect. Just the same thing. You fold your paper in half, and then you fold your paper in half again, the opposite direction. And then you just only have to make one cut this way. And use a straight edge and your pencil. And of course you would measure, however tall, however wide you're wanting it to be. Is that gonna be right? I'm having a major brain fart. Hold on. Oh, did I say that? I did not say that. Here we go. I I did it from the middle. All right, there we go. And then you just make one cut, sort of like making a heart. Just one cut, and when you open it up, you have a diamond. So you do this on regular paper first because it's much easier to fold and much easier to cut. You can make your diamond any size you want. Then I traced it out onto a piece of cardstock because that's nice and stiff. I just laid it right down on the cardstock, traced it out, and cut it with scissors, and that's my diamond. So let me show you how I do this, and I'm going to do this on the side of this piece. I'm going to spin this just a little bit. Just like that. Where did it go? There it is. Okay, remember guys, this side has only been primed. I don't have any fluff paint on this side. This has just been primed. All right, so then I just usually start in the middle. And okay, remember, this is my way. This is the way I do it with no math, no measuring, but also no taping. Now you could tape off if you wanted to, but I just don't. So I just hold it here, I kind of eyeball it, make sure it looks straight, and I literally just trace my diamond. Just like that. Now, is it always going to be perfect when you do it this way? Are you leaving room for, mess up? Yes, probably. But I've never, ever, ever, in the hundreds of pieces that I've done with harlequin pattern, I've never had anyone complain and say, your harlequin was kind of wonky, or your pieces aren't the perfect size for that chest. When it's an overall look, I just don't think people notice. See? How easy is that, y'all?
This is easier than your last method. This one's good.
This is so easy. Are y'all liking this? Y'all let me know you're liking it. And also, I haven't asked y'all to share this, but if you know someone who would enjoy hearing about these different types of techniques, please share this video. I think that there's a share button right there. If you would share it, I would very much appreciate that. All right, so now the next thing is, this doesn't really fit exactly here, so, but I don't care. I just let it run right off the bottom. It's still, I don't need it to be perfect. Oh, my pencil's running off. See?
Looks good.
Any questions about this technique?
No questions.
Y'all don't have any questions today? Are they being quiet?
No, they're all talking about what they would store in their hope chest and saying how good everything looks.
Oh, good. I hope it was helpful, and I'm so appreciative of y'all hanging in there with us.
Well, I've been married to you for 13 years, and I didn't know that that's how you did that.
What? This? Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding.
Oh my gosh. I didn't keep it as a secret, I promise. Okay, so now let me show y'all what I do. If you want to tape that, you obviously can, but hold on. This is how I paint my diamonds. Oh my gosh. There's another paintbrush around here somewhere. Here we go. Y'all are going to be looking at my hand in the back of my head, but this is what I do. This is the paintbrush I use. See the difference? This is an angled brush.
Let's get a close up on this.
Angled brush. And then I also use a 1-inch flat brush. This angled brush has a pretty nice little tip on it, and I really like that. So this is how I do it. I usually have paint in my lid or on a paper plate, and I do my lines first. So I just come in here with a free hand, just like this, and I just drag. Just like that. Now, if you want to tape off, I totally understand, but this is so much, to me, I'd rather spend my time painting than taping. But I will tell you that an angled brush is an absolute necessity. Okay, so move over to this one. Do you see how I've got my hand here on the chest? That's where all of the weight is. I'm not putting any weight at all on my brush. I've got my hand on the chest. I press my hand, I get my brush right where I want it, and I drag my hand. The brush is just an extension of my hand. The brush, I'm not putting any weight on at all. Okay, same thing here. I just flip it over, and I'm dragging the heel of my hand as I go down. and the brush is just an extension. And I kind of fill it in like that. Any questions about this?
No questions.
Okay, just like this. This paint is, like I said, this is Caviar. It's a nice dark black. Caviar, and it will be going over fluff. But right now, this is just the primer, the Boss primer that you're seeing as the white. I'll have to go back in and fill in the others with, the other diamonds with fluff. So then, once I have those filled in, I take my 1-inch brush and I go back so that I don't have brush marks, and I do the fill in with the 1-inch brush, just like this. And
oh, sorry.
I could do the side of this probably in 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes, probably.
Will you be sanding this after you?
You know, some more has to be done. I may be doing some white wax on the side. I don't think I'm going to distress this piece. I do think it's going to look distressed because I may use waxes and glazes to make it look old and aged, but I don't think I'm going to do distress with a sander.
Do your lines have to be perfect when you're freehanding like that if you're going to distress it?
If you're going to distress the piece, it's best to get your lines obviously as perfect as you can. But then if you are going to distress off the edges, that makes it more forgiving, obviously. If you want to be able to distress off your edges, then you don't have to worry about it being so perfect. That's a good question. That's a really good question. And it is something that I tell people that I teach or work with. I say, don't worry about it. This is going to be a super distressed piece, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And that is true. This piece is going to have a distressed look to it, but I don't think it's going to be with a sander. But that was a good question. Okay, so you can see that diamond is done. And the next thing is that I want you to realize is that you also don't have to have your points meet perfectly, because a lot of people like to use another color paint. I've used gold as an accent color on this piece already, so I may be doing metallic gold dot where the paint meets. And I didn't bring any gold paint in here with me, but what I would do for my gold dots where it meets is I literally do it with my fingertip. I just dip my finger in the plate where the gold paint is, and I just make a dot right where all of the points meet. So, I think that's it. What do you think?
Looks good.
Yay! All right, so let's do some stripes. I wonder, can someone tell us how long we've been on? Matt, can you tell me?
There's no ticker on here.
How about your watch?
It's probably once we sign back on about 45 minutes ago.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do this real quick, guys. I'm going to show y'all this.
I apologize for the camera work.
But we knew we were going to have to do a lot of moving today. I think that I'm going to pull this out all the way. So that I can tip it up a little bit so you can see. All right, so in the tape, this is probably an inch. This is a little bit more than that. I'm going to use the wider. I want stripes on this bottom drawer right here. So can you see the drawer?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So the piece has already been painted in flamingo. So we're going to seal these edges off, just like I showed you on the diamond. Sorry, this is brand new. Brand new. All right, so I'm just, tape, usually I would start about in the middle, but I'm just going to do this here for time's sake. And then normally we would use like a spacer piece like this. Well, that didn't go very well. When you're doing stripes, you want to put another piece here so that you know how wide you need, and you put your next piece right here. And then you move your spacer piece over. These are my favorite two colors to use together. I've used Dixie Belle colors for the last couple of years. I'm a new brand ambassador, but I have used their paint, and especially these two colors together, flamingo and peony. I just love them together. It's their pink and orange, especially if you're doing little girls' rooms or the boho. The boho look is so popular right now. And this goes really well with that look. Okay, so there we go. So I would do that all the way across. And, oh shoot, Matt, will you go wash this big brush out for me? Thank you. So I would do that all the way across, and then I would seal again, just like we did on the diamond shape on the harlequin. I'm going to use my finger because Matt went to wash my brush. You literally can just use your finger. You just want to run a little bit of paint over that edge because we're going to seal it. If you do not do this, y'all, you will pull your tape off and you'll have to go back with a brush and make your lines perfect. And why? Why would you want to do that? That is freehand disaster to try to fix stripes with a brush. It really is. So I am sealing these just like that. And
here you go.
Well, thanks, babe. I'm going to use that for the paint in just a second. Thank you, honey. All right, so let's dry that. So, okay, so Matt, what are some things that you've seen for anything new for that you?
Grandma's antiques and baby blankets. A lot of people storing blankets and storing paint.
So what I'm going to do is when the video's over tonight, Matt and I are going to go through them and we're going to pick our winner. And I will contact you either right below your comment as a reply, or I will send you a message, and then I will ask personal things like your shipping address, your phone number, your email, all that kind of stuff. And most importantly, what color paint you would like. And if you want to know, you can go to the link at the top of the video where I posted my link for Dixie Belle Paint. You can go there and shop all of the colors there to decide what color you want. Okay, so that is dry. So now I'm going to get my peony. Can't wait for y'all to see these two colors next to each other. I use this a lot on a lot of my furniture pieces. All right, so now I'm using the peony pink. And again, we sealed it so that our lines would be straight. And we're really rushing it here. So I'm painting over hot. Because I just heat gunned this, but it's okay. We're still getting good coverage, really good coverage. If I weren't in a rush, I probably would go back and do one more coat, but I want y'all to see how good the stripes look. All right, here we go. See how perfect? And look how good these colors look next to each other. Don't they look? Oh, I didn't do a pink on that end. I should have. Doesn't that look good?
Looks good.
I love those two colors together. So this drawer will be in here, so we'll have the two colors there. So I'm going to do black and white stripe around this top edge, and I'm also going to do black and white stripe on this edge, and I will do the exact same thing, you guys. I'll put the 1-inch tape up there and seal it with the white fluff, let it dry, go back, fill it in with the black caviar, and immediately pull my tape off. That's important. When you paint your stripe, pull your tape off while the paint is still wet so that it doesn't form a skin, because then if you pull the tape off after it's dried, you may pull some of your stripe off. So that's really important. Do we have, I keep asking if we have any questions. No one's asking.
Nobody's really
This was like a super
today.
Studious, you know, you had to really pay attention. I know, it hurts your brain, I know. So I hope that it gives you some options with the harlequin pattern. I have a feeling that a lot of you are gonna go with my cardboard diamond. And if you do that, you can still use tape. You don't have to freehand, but your pattern might not be as perfect, but if you don't use tape. But
we do have a question.
Yes.
What color purple have you used on here?
This purple is actually a purple that I made. And sorry, I should have told you guys that. Huh?
Send this on.
I made the purple with these two colors. Dixie Belle does have a color called amethyst that I don't have in stock. I need to get some. I don't have any, and I wanted purple today. So I mixed these two colors, which is Honky Tonk Red and Cobalt Blue, two colors. And I actually went back in and highlighted with a little bit of the Cobalt Blue by itself. But isn't that amazing, those two colors put together, and I made my own purple. So it's a Tracey's Fancy purple. It's fancy purple. So that's how I did it. I just, got a little crazy with my paint. So I think that's it, you guys. I really, really appreciate y'all being on. This piece will be available if you want to join me over on my Facebook page at Tracey's Fancy. I'll have it available on there in another day or so. And I would love for you to come over and let me know how you feel about it. I know that Dixie Belle Paint will be sharing it too. Once I get my harlequin pattern, they love when we do the harlequin patterns and the whimsical pieces. So be looking for it, and I just really, really appreciate you guys being on here, and anyone that told me happy birthday yesterday, thank you so much for that too. Y'all made me feel really special, and thank you, Matt, for filming, and thank you, Dixie Belle, for having us on, and like and share, please, with anyone that you know would appreciate these helpful hints. Thanks so much, you guys. Have a good Sunday night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.